first thing I wanted to get to today, and I think it's just it's common, and there's a lot of news coming out about how great the market's going to be, and all this type of stuff. But we talk a lot on the show about the difference between renting and buying, and I wanted to kind of insert something I hadn't talked about on the show before about why rents are rising faster than prices. There was an article this week from FloridaRealtors.org, cost to rent rising over home buying. And why I think that is important is whether you're a first-time home buyer listening to this show, you probably know somebody that's thinking about buying a home. You have a child that should buy a home, a sibling, a brother, a sister, a relative. But why rents have risen is because of how much impact we've had from large institutional investors over the past few years that are running rental properties like a real business. There's not as many rental properties where it's just kind of Joe Blow that's got one rental property, he kind of cuts the tenant a break because he doesn't want to deal with vacancy. These are large institutions that are running it for profit, that are running numbers, that are analyzing data, and they're getting away with what they can get away with. In other words, they're going to raise rent when they can raise rent. They're going to have embedded rent rises into the leases. So it's changed a lot, and with that being said, it's caused rents to rise. And when rents rise, it starts to, like we've talked about on the show before, does it make sense for somebody to keep renting with rents rising versus low mortgage rates, advantageous prices, and lots of positive signals? There was another article, from the banking institutions that all talked about how great of a year it was going to be for real estate in Tampa Bay. And again, more and more signs as to why people sitting out there, thinking about buying, should buy. And I think you guys probably can touch on that too from the mortgage side of things. Why? And I get that some people that need to move around a little bit or that may have some job insecurity, it's not as if buying is for everyone. But there are so many people out there that will rent for 3 or 4 years. They could have bought, gained equity, gotten tax benefits, and they don't.
Right. I think the part of the reason is because people were not confident of the market, that will the appreciation go? Will there be appreciation back in the market?
Right.
I think we all took a little bit of a hit in 08 and 09, but now the market's back into normal, rising 3.5 to 4% is a normal appreciation
Sure.
rate.
And we're actually seeing better than that right now.
Right.
And again, you can't ever guarantee that, but I think the point is that if values are rising and you get the tax benefits and mortgage rates are so low, you don't have that risk that's there if there's a lot of uncertainty. The uncertainty in our real estate market, quite frankly, should be gone. There really shouldn't be any uncertainty.
And that's the message out to if you have kids that are millennials or whatever, that I think we're a little scared off.
We have one here.
Right.
There's one right there.
I can speak for them.
Yeah. Go ahead. Is there less angst in the millennial market right now?
Yeah, I think so. I think that there's a lot of people. A lot of my friends are in the market right now buying. There's a lot of them that are out and looking. So I think there's definitely less worry, less concern, just because rents, like you said,
they're so high. And I think that the other part of it is the job market's improved. There's all these economic factors. You hear all the stuff with Mr. Vinnick from the Lightning doing stuff downtown and all that development. A guy like him that's worth what he's worth. Is he going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars and go after that whole segment if the bottom is going to fall out of the market? No, he's not. Right? Like he's hired people, he's hired analysts to look at this stuff, to understand there's a need for the product, to know that he can attract employers and hospitals and law schools and all this stuff downtown. And I think when you look at that overall in the marketplace, all these signs point to, if you are renting a property and you plan on being in it for more than a year, it's probably a mistake.
Right.
Well, Florida in general is just attracting so many people. We've surpassed New York.
Our population came back, right?
Exactly.
4 and 5 years ago when I first started the show, one of the topics, and Sean, you might even remember this, one of the topics was we're losing population. Everyone's retiring in Georgia. Now, that's not the case anymore. They're all coming back and coming back in droves.
Without the state income tax.
One of the biggest signs the market's coming back is that Artisan Insurance is here. He says he does a piece for newcomers to the real estate market.
Correct.
One of the biggest groups ever.
Yeah, lots of new licensees getting in. And I've talked on the show many times about that. There's a lot of good with that. There's a lot of bad with that. I actually had a couple of realtors make comments, and they're like, man, Andrew, you're kind of rough on the new agents getting into it. But the reality is a lot of people get into this business and think, they see people like us doing gobs of business, and they think it's easy.
Right.
It took us 10 years. And and it was there was blood, sweat, tears in that. I mean, a lot of time, energy, and effort. It doesn't just, it's not as easy as sometimes people think it is, which is why the average realtor in Tampa Bay sells like 6 homes a year. I mean, it's not. The average realtor income in Tampa Bay is like $32,000. It is not super lucrative. There are a lot of them. There are a lot of them that do it part time, but there are a lot of them failing and lots of them getting out. I saw a statistic not long ago. There's a really high percentage of people that get into real estate in Florida that are out within a year, and it's because I think they underestimate what it's going to
It's
take.
harder than it looks.
And the education that's going to have to come into how you price a property, how you market it, how you serve them, and then
the things to look out for.
And then the legal side of things. You got attorneys that are
Love
out there.
the lawyers. Lawyers get involved all the time.
Yeah.